What's up, people? Welcome to Campfire Discussions with Brandy. Don't mind me, I'm not feeling too great tonight, so we're gonna wing it here. So I'm starting a new painting this show, and I was trying to think of something that would be a really good thing to put, and I thought in honor of the boys doing the concert on Saturday and Valentine's Day coming up, I'm gonna make the sign say it's a good day to have a good day. So that's what we're gonna do. And tonight I'm only doing one color because we're doing the letters in one color, and then we're gonna do a different way of doing this because last time I did lots of different colors, and this time I want to do it a little different. But today we're talking about how the mandates have affected our kids and what they're going through. I know several states have opened up recently. I know where a lot of my family lives in Nevada, their mandates were lifted as of today. California is lifting theirs. Whoa. California is lifting theirs on the 15th, and us, we'll see. They keep saying someday. Now I'm hearing March 31st. I don't know. I would love to see it sooner, considering California, like the most ridiculous one of all, is opening up in a couple days. I would think that they would try to do the same for us, but we'll see. I'm thinking, and I don't know what you guys think, but I'm thinking that there's a good reason for this, and it's not because we've been asking for it. It's not because it's best for our kids, but it's because it's best for the elections. So, maybe you guys agree with me, maybe you don't. We'll see. But I would like to say that I think we all have seen some of the damage it's caused our families, our kids. I was doing some research this week about the idea that the purpose of these mandates, keeping our kids masked and fighting, like releasing everybody except for the kids, there's a reason for that. Because they want to create a generation of people who don't know anything but oppression, and they don't know anything but following these mandates and having to rip their freedoms from them little by little, so that by the time they're our age and old enough to fight back, they won't, because they won't know what that looks like. And that's a scary thing. It's really scary. I know the boys have said this before. Every generation has to fight for their freedom. And it's really scary to think that we might have a generation that doesn't even know what that looks like. I was doing some research as well where they're talking about the effect on babies born during the pandemic versus babies that, or kids that are a little bit older, like our child, who she started dealing with the pandemic, at age 7, and versus these babies that are born into it. And they're saying children at like 6 months old to a year are facing developmental challenges that are, like my daughter didn't face. Kids that are just a little bit older have not faced. They're behind developmentally. They're behind in their social skills. They're behind in their play. They're behind in a lot of things because they're not getting the interaction they're supposed to be getting. They're not getting the one-on-one playtime. And that's really sad. And I know the research is saying, oh, well, they can make it up. But, I mean, if we continue this on, how will they make it up? I've seen the effects on our kid, with her even. I mean, some children love having the mask because it hides them behind. It's like a security blanket. It's a way to protect themselves. It's a way to keep themselves hidden. My daughter is not one of those kids. She hates the mask. She cries about it every day. She's ready to rip that thing up, and every day after school she tears her mask apart because she can only wear paper ones because the cloth ones are too hard for her to breathe. She has asthma, and she rips it up every day, and I'm like, you gotta stop doing that because you're wasting them. But I totally get the sentiment. I really do. So let's start painting here. I'm gonna put I'm thinking of how I'm going to outline this. Maybe I'll do it's a good day to have a good... Yeah, we'll do that. So I'm going to do a little bit of different fonts here. Sorry, guys. That was a mistake. Do some different fonts here. see what I can come up with while we're chatting. I'd love to hear what you guys think about these mandates and what it's doing to our kids, what it's doing to your kids. I mean, also another big problem, and I was asked to bring this up by a special person in my life. Somebody very important to me asked me, and he's watching the show tonight, so you better comment if you're watching. I'm not going to put your name out there because I promised I wouldn't. But it's super important to you, and it's super important to me as somebody that is, I'm not even going to say what our relationship is, but somebody I know very dearly is dealing with some major bullying right now, and I truly believe that part of the problem is because our kids are not seeing each other as humans anymore. They're looking at each other behind a screen. They're looking at each other with a mask. The human quality is, you can't see the facial expression. You can see pain in the eyes, but you can't see the full pain that they're causing when they're doing this. And this is not just some little school kid bullying. This is dangerous bullying. This is really bad. And it's happening to somebody I love. And it makes me really sad that that's going on. And I think that part of the problem is letting our kids completely disassociate with each other, step away from each other, and not look at anyone as human anymore. Everybody's just somebody they can tease or make fun of, and the adults are no better, you guys. Have you been on social media recently? I mean, we treat each other like there's not a human behind the screen. It's ridiculous. And I think, sure, bullying has always been a problem, but I can't help but think that it's gotten a lot worse since we've closed ourselves off from each other. And now you've got family members threatening to not see you ever again until you're willing to get a vaccine. You've got family members that won't come near you if you can't wear a mask. You've got people I love that can't go in places because they can't wear a mask. I'm ready for these mandates to lift so that some people I care about can actually live life again. It's getting old. It's getting really old. Let's see. Somebody said bullying is unacceptable in any environment, job, and especially school. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've experienced it myself as an adult. I experienced it as a kid, but I never experienced it to the extent that I'm seeing happening today. And that's really, really, really sad. I really think that if we're really going to get into it, we need to limit our kids' time on this stuff and get them outside. One thing I'm really happy about is we live in a really good neighborhood with a lot of kids that love each other and care about each other. And regardless of what's going on, we've always had time to be able to go out safely and interact safely and have playtime and enjoy each other. And Riley has not missed out on any social time this whole entire pandemic, because if it was even when we were in lockdown or anything like that, we were really safe, but we still were able to give her playtime, and that I think has been really imperative for her growth, especially at the age she's at. And I think that it's about time to let our kids be kids and stop giving them these adult problems to worry over, stop giving them so much stress and fear on their shoulders. And one way to do that is to take away this mask restriction so they can breathe easy, they can act normal again, because most of our kids know what it's like still to not have to wear masks. They remember that and they're craving that, so we need to give that to them. It's hard as a parent to see bullying as you want to help, but at the same time, where do you have to let them learn to fight their own battles? Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is a hard balance, because we don't want to raise kids that don't know how to defend themselves. We don't want to raise them to have mommy and daddy fight their battles, right? But you also, there's a limit. And when it gets to a point where it's like dangerous levels, that's when it's time to step in and help them, show them the way, show them how to defend themselves, show them what to do, and show them their worth. That's the most important thing. Our kids are so special and so important, and lately they've been treated like a commodity. Oh, that's cute. They've been treated like a commodity. They've been treated like a tool in a political game. And I think it's time to stop using them. And I'm telling you, it's not the parents using them. It's the politicians using them to get us to comply, using them to get what they want. And I'm tired of seeing it, because that's just another way to bully the crap out of our kids. Because what are they going to learn from that? Well, if you don't comply, Mom, then we don't get what we want. That's not the life I want for my kid. No comments. No more comments. Where are you people tonight? Come on. I need some comments to see. The boys have each other. I don't have anyone up here. It's just little old me, and I'm not feeling great, so you gotta give me something to talk about, okay? I need some communication. We'll see. Someone said I'm special. Yeah, special ed, I'd say. No. I'll tell you this. I have a lot of fun. I enjoy this. But it's because I like talking to everybody and getting everybody's opinion on what they're going through and how this stuff affects them too. Because just because I have an opinion doesn't mean it's right. I mean, I like to think I'm right, but that doesn't mean I am. I do think that there are some people that are afraid still that if we allow our kids, and I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my voice tonight. I must be getting something going on. If we allow our kids to be unmasked, and we might have more sickness running rampant. But I mean, like, do you feel that way during flu season? I mean, they're sick, you keep them home. Let them get through it. Riley's had a flu the past couple days. She's been home, and she's fine. She's getting through it. She says, one great thing about being sick is I get to hang out with Mom and Dad. So she's doing good. She's fine. And then once she's better, we send her back to school, and I think we got to start trusting other parents and trusting each other again, and stop looking at everybody as an enemy and start working together. I mean, that's a big part of this. Our kids are learning to be controlled. They are growing up in a society of fear and mandates. They are losing what freedom really is. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's what the danger is. Because imagine a world 20 years from now, and our generation of kids right now are in the place we're in, and they've never known what a life without a mandate is, what a life without these masks are, what a life without the government dictating if you can go grocery shopping or not, or if you can go to school or not. So what would give them the gumption, especially when they're not teaching history properly? What would give them that gumption to fight to get that freedom back? And getting it back is so much more difficult than keeping it. And I'm sorry guys, you might disagree with me, but we've lost our country at this point. So it's time for us to step up and get it back. Part 1, take away the masks. Seriously. Take them away. California is taking them away. Oregon, listen up. California is done with masks as of Tuesday, the 15th. Okay? Like, it's getting ridiculous. Kids need facial recognition and social interaction. That's right. Facial recognition. I mean, imagine they're in school, right? Riley didn't even recognize her teacher the other day when she pulled her mask down and told me a joke about axolotls. She goes, "Whoa, I didn't know you look like that. That's ridiculous." Okay? Like, how many of her friends has she not seen their face? That's scary. That's really scary to me. Parents can get the curriculum and be involved in their kids' education. Yes, they can. That is true. That is true. And I'd like to say, they talked about this a little bit last night about the opt-out programs that we have. And I think that all opt-out programs should be switched to opt-in. And that's my personal opinion. I think that when you have to opt out of these really dangerous conversations that they have with our kids, if you don't believe what they believe as far as health and sex education, you don't want your child learning certain things at a certain age, you have to opt out of that. So if you don't opt out, if you aren't aware, and they don't make you aware of it, the only reason I know this is because we've been fighting school on it. So the only reason I know is because we asked and we got involved. So get involved. Really get involved. But you shouldn't have to opt out. You should opt into those things, especially when it involves things that might go against your belief system, might go against what your family wants to work through together. Our schools and our government they're not raising our kids. We should be raising our kids. And I'm tired of seeing the overstep of boundaries. Like, it's crazy. I remember in school, we had sex ed, right? Okay. But it was like the basics, and it was way later in school. It was like, I was much older than elementary school, I'll tell you that much. And they had to get the parents' permission to do it. They sent home a permission slip. And then the parents had to sign the permission slip in order to participate. And if your parents forgot to sign the permission slip, guess what? You weren't involved. And I love that. I think we need to go back to that. It's sad when the kids are being more bold than the adults stand up for their freedoms. Yes. Okay, so I'm sure some of you guys have seen the kids in, like, Washington the other day were walking out of their school. And, well, they weren't walking out. They were walking into their school without their masks. And if they were told to put a mask on, they would leave. And I love that. I think that's wonderful. And these are teenage kids because they've seen this. They've experienced the freedom that they normally have. And they're pissed off. And they should be. We should all be pissed off. And I think it's time. And to see the truckers in Canada stand up, that is so cool. And I heard that we're having truckers going to Washington, D.C., from what I understand, very soon, like next month. I'm excited about that. I hope that happens. I hope that they are very successful and get a lot of money and they don't use GoFundMe. Kids are bullying kids at our schools. Masker versus anti-masker. Yeah, that's another thing. Your parents are teaching their kids that if somebody doesn't like a mask or doesn't want to wear a mask, or when they're not at school, they choose not to wear a mask, that they're a bad person, that they're insensitive and they don't care, and they don't want to they don't want to do for the greater good, and then kids that don't choose to mask are bullying kids that do choose to mask. It's not their choice. I mean, it is in some ways, but like, everybody should have the choice of what they want to do. The parents should be able to choose what their kids do without bullying each other for your choice. Your choice is your choice. It's your health decision. It's your choice. Okay, it's time to thank a sponsor. So let's see, who do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Whitney Signs. They're amazing. I can't say enough good things about them. They do amazing work all over the place, not just our town. And they do all of our work for anything that we need, signs or brochures or stickers for either Backwoods Brothers or our nonprofit ECW. And they are always really quick. They're always friendly. They're amazing prices. And let's see a video of them. Oh, sorry. That's what, okay, so we had a little technical problem, but I love that commercial. It's so cute. My favorite part's the end with the horn. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to be showing much of this sign today because obviously, remember, in the beginning stage, it doesn't look so hot. And then after I do layers and layers and layers of it, it starts looking better. But yeah, I think it's really important that we start thinking about the repercussions of this, about what we're telling our kids, what we're talking about, and what they're hearing from us. Like, our daughter, She's a little sponge, okay? So we got to be really careful what we say. And we're always telling her, regardless of what her feelings are, we're always telling her, you have to respect other people's choices. You got to respect that they have parents telling them one thing. They have other people telling them things. So you cannot make fun of somebody for their choice. And luckily we have a pretty special kid that doesn't do that. She's got a big heart. She loves everybody no matter what. So we're really lucky in that way. And but I think it's really important we think about the conversations our kids overhear, what they're hearing from us, what we're saying around them, because it's obviously bleeding into our schools. It's obviously coming to our schools. It's obviously going to how they're behaving towards their peers. And we want to set a good example. And lately, I've been seeing adults set some shitty examples. Sorry, but it's true. We've got some really... I mean, yes, okay, guys, we've been through some really tough times. We've had some rough waters here. We've been fighting some really crazy political madness. And if you disagree politically, all of a sudden you're the enemy. Somehow that came out recently, that you can't have a difference of opinion without being the enemy. But we need to get back to what we're good at. Like, remember what we did during the fires. Remember what people do during emergencies. Remember how people can come together and be there for each other, and start doing that some more. I think if we start being there for each other, regardless of our differences, regardless of what our political affiliations are, just be there, listen to the other side. And you don't have to agree, but you can be respectful. You can be kind. You can be open to learning something that you might not know. And you can comment so I can get some questions. Just saying.
Funny. Real funny.
Anyways, that's my spiel. So the study that I was reading about with babies, it also talked about, it showed this lady coming and teaching this little girl in her home because she couldn't get to school because of the lockdowns, and her parents didn't want her on a computer. So this teacher came to her, like this tutor or teacher or whatever that they paid, I don't even know, buco amount of dollars to come and teach their daughter. She was in a biohazard outfit. And so even though they were in their own home, this teacher's in this complete, like, I don't know if you've seen these ones, but they have the oxygen tank, and it's like blowing the air through, and like completely makes this person not even look human in your home. No, the teacher, not the kid. The teacher was in a biohazard suit. Oh, sorry. And then the kid was in a mask. And it's like, I mean, can we, like, chill, man? Like, we're noticing that, especially with Omicron, yes, it's gonna pass. And you know what? Eventually, every single person is gonna have COVID. And that's okay. We're gonna get through it, guys. And Omicron is passing really fast. But guess what? It's a lot less severe right now. So it might be more transmittable. And stuff. I would put the teacher right out of that house. Don't want him learning to teach my kids. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know why they allowed that, because I think that's just as damaging, if not more damaging, than masks, but whatever. We've got to get back to just stop living in fear, okay? Because right now our kids are growing up, like they said, like somebody else said, they're growing up thinking that mandates are normal, that masks are normal, that this is normal life, this is what America is, and we keep it up any longer, guys, it's going to be impossible to get back to the good stuff. And yeah, I'm saying get back to normal, okay? Everybody keeps saying we're never going to get normal again. But I think we can if we fight for it. It's time to fight for it. It's time to stand up. It's time to stop sitting on your butts. And I'm talking about those people that like to chat online and like to say all kinds of stuff and say, I'm a badass online, but don't actually show up and do anything. Show up to your council meeting. Show up to your school board meeting. Show up and start fighting for this. If that's what you want, fight for it. Because if you don't, we're going to lose even more than we've already lost. Think about the years that we've lost. 2 weeks to flatten the curve has turned into over 700 days, people. Over 700 days. And I'm not talking about the parts of the country that are smart. I'm talking about our parts of the country. Okay, there's some parts of the country you realize if you live in Oregon or California or Nevada or Washington or Hawaii, who requires a vaccine to even enter the state, you might not realize this, but like 44 states haven't had mandates ever. Like, refuse to have mandates and are letting their kids go to school and not have masks and are letting kids play and are letting people go to the grocery store and are not forcing vaccines and are living just fine. And you know what else too? With you guys have heard my story, so when I had COVID, Joel had to fight tooth and nail to get me the Region Cove treatment, which saved my ass. And if you're in Florida or Louisiana or some of those states, all you have to do is show that you have a positive test. And guess what? You could go up and get that Region Cove treatment like that. And that's why they're doing okay, because they're getting the right proper treatments. They're getting what they need to combat this illness instead of ending up in the hospital. And yeah, so we need to look at that. Our blue states need to start doing what the red states are doing, because when you've got 44 states doing perfectly fine, and the states with the highest numbers of dangerous levels and the highest numbers of hospitalizations and the highest numbers of sick people are the ones that are masked. I mean, come on, common sense. I remember the freedom on when I was a kid. COVID had nothing compared to the garden hose drinking fountain. Well, yeah, I guess it is. That is true. I used to drink out of the drinking fountain too, and we used to play in the mud, and we used to, if we had chickenpox, our parents would have chickenpox parties, and yeah. So I mean, that's how we did it. And I'm technically considered a millennial because of the year I was born, but I'm pretty sure my parents raised me like Generation X, so I feel like I'm Generation X. Somebody said, isn't it higher than 44 now? One more with California. Well, yeah, if you think about it, because California and Nevada is done as of today, and California is done as of Tuesday. So as of Tuesday, what we have four states. That's it. So we're at 46 states that are doing it right, and 4 that are like, hey guys, we're stupid. Anyways, I'm not a boomer. Whoever said that. The day California is smarter than us, all hope is lost. Exactly. Okay, this whole time hasn't Brown been following Newsom's orders? So why now is it? Because I know Nevada has, and the second Nevada heard that California was done on the 15th, they said, you know what, we're done today. So why is Oregon now falling behind that? And then what's up with Washington too? I don't understand why Washington and Oregon and Hawaii are holding out so much. I don't get it. I mean, Hawaii's an island, so get everybody sick, have a big, huge COVID party, and then you're fine. You're done, right? I know that's probably not smart. Don't do that. Again, sorry guys, I'm not feeling good, so I might be a little bit weird tonight. Sorry. I don't mean that for real. I don't mean to like make everyone get COVID. It's serious. COVID is serious. It's dangerous. It's not good. I've had loved ones get really sick. But we can't live in fear any longer. We have to fight it a different way. We need to find ways to fight it that's not killing our kids. And it's killing our kids because our suicide rates are up, our depression rates are up, the bullying is out of control. So our kids need to get back to normal. They need to have regular life. And our kids are the ones that are least affected by this disease. So why are we making them the most restricted? That's what I don't get. It doesn't make sense to me. Virtue signaling, just like the other vax double boosted sheeple. I don't know who said that, but that's funny. Yeah, I mean, it is. A lot of it is political. It's all politics. I mean, you guys heard Christine Drazen last night talking about how, as the minority leader in our house, she had to fight tooth and nail, and they took funding away from our city, and she went and fought for us, thank God. But, like, the fact that they're doing that as a political tool and, like, leaving towns out of help and funding that they need because they want to mess with people that don't believe the same things they do is really gross to me. It's really, really, really gross. We don't have a sheep to show you guys, but we do have a pig. Perfect. Perfect. Good job. And see, I'm not playing with the buttons. So, oh, just so you know, no more playing with buttons up here. We're going to leave that to producers. Producers work. Because they need to have fun back there. I was bored last night because I didn't get to have fun with the buttons. Anyways. So, what do you guys think? I'd love to know what people think about these mandates and what they're going to do to fight it. If they have kids dealing with bullying or kids dealing with this stuff going on, what is their plan? What's your plan? I would love to know. I know people are upset. I know people are mad, but I want to know what's your plan to fix it? Because we need a plan. We need to fight together, come together, say forget treating people like crap. Let's start acting human again. And let's make a plan. Let's think of a plan that'll help keep everyone safe, but also stop living in fear, stop hurting our kids. Oh, somebody said, Joel? Is that you, Joel? I need cream for that burn. Oh, jeez. We're having fun. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. I'm a little low on energy. I don't know if you guys knew. I have a cyst on my ovary right now. So, any females out there can feel my pain. It's not so fun. And so I'm trying to work through it and be smiley for you guys and enjoy this and talk about this stuff. But giant hole in the ocean, put a sign that says COVID cure at the bottom and free crack. Oh my god. Who said that? That's awesome. You know what? That would work on a lot of people. Okay, so someone asked me what it's like at the hospitals. Yeah, I will tell you this. I've been at the hospitals recently. Once for me, once for a friend of mine I took. And so when I took my friend, this is a good story. And I don't know if I told you guys this story last week or not. But when I took my friend, she had something going on. And it was severe and painful and hard on her. And so I took her in and the funny thing was that it wasn't funny. It was miserable. We were there for a total of, once we got home, I think it was 16 or 17 hours. It took more than 10, 11 hours for her to even get taken from the waiting room to the back. And then when we finally got in the back, I couldn't go back there because she was in the hallway. And she was in the hallway, and then she finally got released a few hours later. And for her, that was miserable because she was in so much pain, and it took so long for them to address it and do anything. And then when they did, it wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to enough. And so we get her home, and we realized we talked to a lot of people there. And it's funny because when I first walk in, this guy, and I'm not going to say where we were because I don't want to get him in trouble. I promise not to tell him. He pulls me aside outside because I was going outside to move my car after getting her in because I had to wheel her in. That's how bad she was. And so I'm moving my car, and he comes out to me, and he's like, just so you know, I want you to be safe. Like, you can sit with her. You're allowed to be with her. But it's not a good idea because everybody in there has COVID. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And I said, okay, I'll take my chances. I'm good. So I go in there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at everybody, and I talk to everybody, and there's like 30 people in the waiting room. And we talked to everyone. Not a single human being was there for COVID. They were all there for something like you would see in an emergency room. Ear infections, kidney stones, breaks, bone breaks, nose issues, somebody lost their sight all of a sudden. It was really weird. There's all kinds of things people were there for, but not a single human being had symptoms of COVID. And then when my friend got to the back, she said that there was one doctor and very few nurses, and that is why it was overcrowded. That is why it was packed. That is why they could not get her in, was because there was one doctor. And it was packed full of people that did not have COVID. It wasn't COVID causing the problem. It was a shortage of staff. And you know why there's a shortage of staff? because the mandates. Anyways, so that was that experience, and there was also some really gross stuff that happened in the waiting room that, you know, I might tell later if I have time. But we have to go to a sponsor, and then I'll tell you the story of my trip to the hospital. This sponsor is my favorite pizza place ever. I've lived in a lot of places, and anywhere I've lived, and of course here in Estacada, it's my favorite place ever. The owner, Val, is amazing. She is so supportive of everything we do. She is a wonderful human being who takes a lot of crap and works her butt off. And her place is so homey, and her food is great. So here's a video of her. Okay, I'm here. So my other example was when I was in the hospital on Friday night. Now, I went to a better hospital because it's awesome. So I will, if you guys know the hospital that I'm talking about, maybe comment it. And if you do, I'll say yes or no. But they're a much better hospital. They're a smaller hospital, but they treat you amazing there. And so I got there. And within 2 hours, I was in the back, but it took 3.5 hours for me to see a doctor. So when I got there, the nurse put an IV in me, took blood work, took my urine test, because they thought I had kidney stones, so they did that right away. But I didn't see the doctor for 3.5 hours. We were pushing the button. My friend was going out there trying to beg for somebody to come in, because at this point, I was like in the fetal position, crying. Finally, the doctor comes in. She's like, I'm so sorry. You were on my mind. I know you were here, and I knew it was serious. And she goes, we're going to get an MRI. We're going to do this. We're going to find out what's wrong. And then she said, yeah, her feelings degrade my ass. Anyways, she got me in. They gave me some anti-nausea stuff and some pain stuff to help calm it down. And then they sent me to the MRI. Thank God they did that, because that was really uncomfortable. Well, no, it wasn't an MRI. Sorry. It was a CT with contrast, which if you guys know what a contrast is, that's really uncomfortable. It makes you feel like you're peeing yourself. It's awful. So anyways, I come back, and so it took 3.5 hours to see the doctor. And I think it took another 3 hours from that to get discharged. And I didn't find out what was wrong with me until I was discharged. And it was the same story. One doctor, a bunch of National Guard people were there filling in as nurses or ER techs or something, whatever what they had experience in, because they didn't have enough nurses, they didn't have enough staff. So there was a bunch of guys in uniform, which we thanked every one of them. And apparently I said, why are there so many Army guys here? And they said, well, Brown decided that we need the National Guard because we don't have enough staff. And we don't have enough staff because of the mandates. So, again, oh, interesting.
It won't go away.
We're having fun. Sorry, guys. So, where was I? So, the problem was not COVID. I asked the doctor, and she was kind enough to tell me that there was only one COVID patient. Most of our patients that night were actually psych patients. There were a few patients like me dealing with some serious pain stuff, like injuries, and mine happened to be a cyst that she said was causing my pain. unfortunately that's still happening, but we're hoping that that gets fixed soon. But yeah, she was really wonderful to me. She was kind as all get out. Even though she was the only doctor, I was in and out in 8 hours. 8-ish hours. And to me, that was a lot more reasonable because at least 5 hours in, they were doing something about it. And she was also an only doctor with a ton of patients, and she just was working her butt off. And so that's another thing these mandates are causing problems with, is our hospitals are overrun. They are miserable to go to, so don't go unless you absolutely have to, because it is awful. But it's not because of COVID, you guys. It's because they've fired so many of their people that they're having to bring in the National Guard to treat us because they fired everybody else. And guess what? National Guard doesn't have a choice because they're property of the government. Don't know if you know that. But when you sign up to be in the military, you're property of the government, so you have to do what they say. And that sucks. Somebody says, that happened to me when I needed my gallbladder removed. I waited for hours. That sucks. I'm sorry that that happened, because when you're in pain, you got something like that going on, it's awful. I know when I had my gallbladder removed, I got seen immediately because it was really serious. My mother-in-law was with me, and she was not having it. She's pretty good at that. She was like, you are going to see her right now. And they took me direct from check-in to a hospital room, and within like 30 minutes I had seen the doctor, and within an hour we knew what it was. But it took, I think, Joel can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it took almost 24 hours in the hospital before they actually did the surgery, because they kept having to push me back. So I was in a hospital room for over a day before I even got the surgery, and then once I got the surgery I was out within like 5 minutes, it felt like. Somebody said other blue states are outright eliminating the mandates, even in schools. Do you think Oregon will allow stores and schools to remain masked up after March 2022 mandate is eliminated? Okay, so here's the question that we have. And sorry, I have to fix this because my jacket is falling down. So here's the question I've been getting, and I'm not sure. And my mom actually asked me this question too, because she said something about if they're taking government funding, federal government funding, they might not be able to take the mask mandate away. Now, I don't know how true that is. So don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I do know that schools obviously get government funding. Stores, not necessarily. So I don't know. I really hope, to be honest, I'm holding out hope that because California and Nevada have made this such a swift thing, that Oregon's going to be like, oh crap, we can't hold off till March 31st. We need to do this now. I'm really hoping. But Brown's such an idiot, I don't think she's going to do it. But I hope that that's what happens. And I hope that it all goes to where the schools will release them. They'll just leave it up to the parents. And I'm hoping that by doing that, we don't see that bullying continue. And that the teachers do a really good job of saying, hey, this is their parents and their personal health choice. And if your parents are choosing you to do this, that's to keep you safe. And you can't worry about them. You guys got to worry about your own self and stop putting your choices on somebody else. I would hope that's what we tell all of our kids. I think they could stand up against them because it takes an act of the legislative body to remove funding. That's interesting, and that's a good point. That would be great. I think we're going to have a lot of questions answered in the next 6 months or so, because it's an election year here. So I'm pretty sure a lot of this has to do with midterm elections, you guys. And I said that in the beginning, and I'm going to say that again. Do not let them fool you. Do not vote to keep this a blue state. Now, I know we have no hope, and we don't have a snowball's chance in hell of going red. I know that. But start local and work your way out. Keep your local people fighting for your actual rights, and get rid of those assholes who don't want your rights to be there. And if we all fight for our towns, maybe we can make a change here. Because guess what? Portland isn't Oregon. Portland is a very small part of Oregon, and Salem is a very small part of Oregon. There's a lot of us out here that do not agree with anything these big cities are doing. And if you want to see how successful a totally blue run state and city is, go to Portland and make it out alive, please. I'm just saying, we've got to do something better. So do not let this lifting of mandates mess with your head and make you go, oh, maybe they're getting reasonable and maybe they'll work with us now and we should keep them in. Nope, fuck, no. Sorry. Nope. Because the second they come back and those elections are over, guess what? We're back to where we started. So I'm putting it out there because I called it the last 2 years. I've been saying this for 2 years, and I'll say it again. If we continue with the same people, we're screwed. That's it. So we have another, I know it's 8:02, but we have another sponsor to show. And we did start like 10-15 minutes late, so this is a good time for it. And it's actually our stuff. It's called Pissed Off Patriot Line. And we've got more lines coming, but this one's their new one. And it's our logo took some time to work out. We're pretty excited about it. So go get some of this awesome stuff. It's pretty cool. And I'm excited to get a hoodie because that's what I'll be wearing on the show. And then maybe we'll get a hoodie that's like Campfire Discussions with Brandy or something. That would be cool. So let's take a look. Oh, yeah.
Hey, sis, I can tell you're feeling better. You know why?
I'm moving more.
And you said, fuck.
Yeah, I said fuck no. Okay, yeah, so how do you guys like my new logo? I just got reminded by the producers to mention my new logo. So we came up with a new logo because nobody sent in any ideas, at least not that I know. So we came up with our own. Hopefully you like it. It's inspired by my daughter. She actually gave us the idea, so it's pretty cool. And hopefully you guys like it. You'll see it when the show's over again with my little, whatever you call that thing. The little snapshot they do at the beginning and the end of the show. I can't think of the name. Anyways, they're probably typing it to me, but we'll see. Anyways. Oh yeah, and the sound didn't shut off during that commercial, so I hope you enjoyed our little banter back and forth. That's what we do when we have a few minutes to talk to each other. So, well, actually a few seconds. So we have to take it when we get it, and if the sound doesn't go off, oh well. And Joel says sorry for all the problems. So, anyways, there's not much else to say, and I'm really tired, so I think I'll probably end it in a second. I just like to say again, please fight for your rights, fight for your kids. Our kids are the ones that are the most they're most heavy with stress, the most heavy with fear, the most heavy with these restrictions, and we need to let them free. We need to let them be kids. I mean, my motto is never, ever, ever put adult problems on my child. And I think that as a country, we've been doing that too long. As a blue state, we've been doing that too long. We really, really, really need to open up to each other, be human again, love each other again, and be there for each other. And our kids, by fighting for them. And I mean, stop just talking online and blah, blah, blah. Like, go do something. Go to your school board meeting. Stand up. Go to the state ones. Go to your city council meetings. Go to your county commissioners meetings. Do whatever it takes to make your voice heard. Show your kids what it's like to fight for freedom so they don't forget, please. And that is it. I hope you guys have a great night. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. And look at my logo.